Minecraft mods have been around almost as long as Minecraft itself, but they have evolved and changed over time significantly. Some of these mods were so good that they changed Minecraft as a whole forever, or shaped the modding scene we see today. But what did those mods do or have, and how did they impact Minecraft? Well, let's start with one of the most famous mods to ever grace Minecraft. Single player commands, also known as SPC for short, was one of the first and arguably most popular old mod that we don't see anymore. Created by Simo415, he released the mod publicly on the Minecraft forums on December 6, 2010 for Minecraft version Alpha 1.2.6. The mod featured many commands which at the time were only possible to use in a multiplayer server with plugins. See, back in these old versions of the game, there was no open to LAN and allow cheats on. SPC has hundreds of commands, notably /fly, which allows you to fly in survival, as well as increase your fly speed, /game mode to change game modes, /kill NPC, /set home, and /god. If you can think of it, SPC probably had it. As well as these very useful commands, SPC had incorporated World Edit with it, allowing you to not only use the commands which are offered, but also all of the commands which World Edit had. SPC is no longer being developed, unfortunately, and the last version of the game which it was updated to was 1.6.2. You see, SPC was so good that many of its features were added to the vanilla game in the form of open to LAN and turning cheats on. The mod still has many useful features, of course, but the addition of commands to Minecraft meant that the average player who just wanted to do basic things such as switch game modes or fly didn't need to use SPC anymore. The addition of command blocks and other useful commands in even later versions of the game also allowed players to do many things which the mod couldn't do. All things aside, SPC was one of the most used mods ever, and if you ask any player who played during 2011 to 2013, I'm sure they have used it at least once. Now, INVEDIT is another really old mod that functioned quite differently to mods we see today. Instead of being able to be used in-game, it was a separate little program in its own window. Its functionality was fairly simple though. You could select one of your saves and then edit your inventory in that save. Of course, for this to work you couldn't be playing and would have to be on the main menu. INVEDIT allowed you to modify what items were in your inventory, allowing you to give yourself large quantities of items and also allowing you to give yourself enchanted diamond gear and tools with the max level of enchantment in Minecraft, 32,767. This mod worked by editing your save's NBT data, which can now also be done more easily with other programs such as NBT Editor. INVEDIT wasn't that popular, but it did pave the way for our next mod. Alright, so let's move on to single player commands' greatest contender for the most used mod which is no longer around. Too Many Items, also known as TMI for short. The mod was created by Marglyph and was made public on the Minecraft forums on the 24th of January 2011. Too Many Items allowed players to spawn in items in survival mode, as like I previously mentioned, you couldn't open to LAN and use commands back then. A menu would appear on the left and right of your screen when you opened your inventory, which had a whole list of items and also a search bar, allowing you to find items easily. When you right clicked the item, you would get one of it, if you left clicked it you would get a stack, or if you shift left clicked it you would get an infinite stack which was displayed as 111 items. On the left of the screen were 7 saves. Basically how these worked is you could save your current inventory, so if you wanted to switch to certain items you could just click the save and load it up again. This was very useful for enchanted items and gear. In the top left were even more options, such as the ability to change the time of day or night, change the difficulty, turn off rain, change your game mode, and even delete your entire inventory. These features were incredibly useful back then, as there was no other way to do this aside from mods such as SPC. TMI also was useful for things outside of spawning in items and had some useful crafting features, such as when you right clicked the output, it allowed you to craft the maximum amount possible. The mod also allowed you to get items which weren't even obtainable in creative, such as normal monster spawners for other entities such as fireworks, as well as end portal frames and the fire, water and lava blocks. The mod was used in conjunction with other mods and mod packs so players could easily see what modded items they needed. The mod also worked on servers if you had OP. Too Many Items was later discontinued and the latest version it's available for is 1.8. It was replaced by a newer version called Not Enough Items, which was also discontinued after a while, and these days we have Just Enough Items. While Too Many Items is not as useful anymore due to the amount of commands we have in vanilla Minecraft, the mod is one of the main reasons we have some features. For example, In creative mode, you can save inventories now, and you can obtain some items which were not previously obtainable with commands. Now everybody who's played Minecraft knows what pistons are, but very few people know that before they were introduced into the game during beta 1.7, they were in a mod made by the user OPTIFINE. The mod was released to the public on March 28, 2011, and the pistons which were in the mod worked very similar to the standard pistons we have today, except they looked completely white and could push entities further than normal pistons. The mod was so good and so popular that even the Minecraft developers liked it a lot. They liked it so much that Jeb got the code for the mod, and using that, implemented the pistons we see today into Minecraft. The original creator of the mod, OPTIFINE, is also in the game's credits under additional programming. This mod arguably had the most direct impact on the game, as the pistons we see today function almost identically to the pistons in the mod. Now, another very unknown mod which had a massive impact on the game, especially early Minecraft, was Fast Render, which was later updated and changed to OPTIMIME. Created by the user Scaviolus and made public on the Minecraft forums on January 2, 2011, the mod functioned as a game performance improver. The original description for the mod states that it gives an increased and smoother frame rate when playing single player, and should also make single player memory usage grow slower. Apparently, the typical FPS gain was at least 10 FPS, which back then was quite decent. About 10 days later, the mod was updated and named OPTIMIME and included other features along with fast render, such as chunk optimization, optimized saves, better tessellation, better error handling, and better chunk drawing code. The mod was very good for its time, and in early January of 2012, the mod was actually added to the game, which at the time was in version beta 1.2. Similar to the creator of the piston mod, Scaviolus is included in the Minecraft credits under additional programming. Speaking of mods which make the game run faster, arguably the most used and most known mod of current Minecraft, potentially even of all time, is OPTIFINE. Created and still currently updated by SP614X, the mod was released to the public on the Minecraft forums on the 8th of April 2011. The mod was phenomenal, and still is, adding many features such as HD textures, more video settings and options, while also increasing FPS, which SP614X stated to be often double. Modern day OPTIFINE has evolved even more, with notable features such as connected textures, custom skies, render distances far above vanilla Minecraft, and the ability to zoom in. Current day OPTIFINE also has shaders implemented, which started as its own mod and then later combined with OPTIFINE. When Minecraft initially updated to 1.13 about 2 years ago, game performance got significantly worse, and those struggling to run the game saw a significant hit in performance. OPTIFINE is so good, it can increase the performance for these computers enough so that they can continue to play. Some players rely on OPTIFINE to play the game, and whenever a new Minecraft update is released, they have to wait for OPTIFINE to be updated in order to continue playing. Even myself, with a decent PC, notice the drops and lag when not using OPTIFINE, and find that the game performs so much smoother and better whenever I have OPTIFINE installed. So if OPTIFINE is such a good mod, which many players rely on, then why hasn't Mojang implemented many of its features into the vanilla game like they did with other mods? Well, supposedly Mojang did contact the creator of OPTIFINE, but Mojang only wanted certain parts of the mod, which led to the deal going nowhere. There was also the issue of capes. You can donate to OPTIFINE, which allows you to have a cape on your account that can only be seen when using the OPTIFINE mod. Normally in vanilla Minecraft, the only way to get capes is to have attended Minecon, making them extremely rare. If Mojang was to buy OPTIFINE and implement it into the game, they probably wouldn't want tens of thousands of players with capes, but they wouldn't want to remove them as it will upset the players who donated. There seemed to be too many complications, and Mojang and SP614X couldn't come to a deal. But that doesn't change the fact that OPTIFINE is probably the most used mod these days, and is the sole reason why some people on lower end computers are still able to play the game. A lot of older and long-time players will remember the AETHER mod, as it was one of the first large and gameplay changing mods to ever be released. The mod was created by a team of users and released to the public on Minecraft forums on July 23, 2011. For those of you who don't know what the mod is, it's basically a mod which adds another dimension to Minecraft similar to the Nether, but this dimension is a sky dimension. You can get there by building a nether portal out of glowstone and using water to light it instead of flint and steel. The AETHER dimension features a bunch of floating islands and dozens of new blocks, mobs and tools. The AETHER also features dungeons where you can fight difficult bosses or mobs to obtain rare items. If you fall into the void in the AETHER, you get teleported back to the overworld but in the sky. The mod was later discontinued and replaced by an updated version, the AETHER 2, but other modders recreated the original for newer versions of the game. Now I'm not going to go through and talk about all the features of the mod, but rather want to talk about its impact on the game. The AETHER mod was released before the End and the Ender Dragon were added to Minecraft, so back then there were no real bosses or any other sky dimensions. Now I don't want to say the AETHER is what caused the End to be introduced into the game, but I will say that I believe Mojang took significant inspiration from the AETHER mod when they introduced the End to the game. The End is also a sky dimension and features a boss and rare items. However, the differences between the End and the AETHER are very noticeable. The End is a dark, scary place with very few mobs, whereas the AETHER is sort of fairy-like with all its clouds and light colours. Aside from how it influenced Minecraft, the AETHER had a huge impact on the modding scene, as it really was the first mod of its kind to add so much new to the game, inspiring many mods which we would see in the future. Now, while all the mods I've talked about today have had an overall positive impact on the game, XRAY is the only one that has had an arguably negative impact. XRAY is one of the most popular mods as well as resource packs of all time. It's very simple. The resource pack basically changes most blocks into transparent textures, allowing you to see ores and other important blocks such as chests underground. The mod is like an advanced version of that. It allows you to click X to toggle the ore viewer, R to toggle the redstone viewer, which hides the ores and lets you see lava, chests and redstone, which is good for finding underground or hidden bases, and then C to toggle cave viewer, which lets you see caves. Now these days the XRAY mod isn't used as a standalone mod and is mostly incorporated into hacked clients. So how did XRAY have an impact on Minecraft? Well, Minecraft servers had to find ways to counteract the mod, and they did sort of. XRAY on Hypixel does not work properly, and you'll find that Hypixel game modes have plugins which generate the ores only when you get close enough to them. This means you won't see any real ores unless you get really close. There are also other plugins such as Ore Obfuscator, which makes it so you see so many ores that it's impossible to determine which are real. The plugin works by modifying data sent to clients, thus making them see more than they should. However, even on these servers with protection, XRAY still gives players an advantage as it allows you to see players and bases through walls. XRAY has had such an impact on servers where raiding and griefing is allowed that players are almost forced to build underground and far away. I remember people who used to try and hide their bases from XRAY by putting lava around them. These days, however, XRAY is very configurable, and it is very difficult to hide chests or items from players who use it. A trick which people on Anarchy servers use is to put their items in item frames or furnaces, which most players do not have shown when they use XRAY. So Minecraft has had a long and rich history of mods, and has one of the longest and most active modding scenes of any other game. Did I miss any mods? Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments, as well as like the video. Thank you so much for watching.